Hello and welcome back to the third episode of my career manager mode on FIFA 13. And at the end of the last episode we were trying to bid for, I think it's Peter Rakowski or something like that, a 17-year-old keeper in order to kind of bring into my squad. And here we go, he's come back with a decline on the contract, which I was kind of expecting because I forgot to actually tell him he was going to be an important squad player and I didn't really increase his wage. So that was something I was kind of thought was coming, but it's kind of getting a bit monotonous now, having to kind of keep sending forward and back contracts for this 19-year-old. Yeah, he's 19, sorry, I thought 17 is my striker up front, as you have all seen, absolute beast, and he is continuing to play incredibly well, which you'll see throughout this episode. Anyway, so once I put the offer in once again for the new contract for the keeper, I decided to go onto the market, as you can see here, and see if there are actually any decent age, so 17 to 21 free agents actually knocking about. See, I was fiddling with the wrong thing at the bottom. We need to go to transfer status here, and there we go. So I whacked on the free agents, and I actually found this player, as you can see. He's a 17-year-old, 63 rated. Here we are, Pedro Azanoug, maybe? I don't know. But on a free transfer at 17, he can only really get better, and he's I was pretty sure if I scroll through it again, I think he's 3-star weak foot and 3-star skills. For a 17-year-old, that was pretty decent. So, as you expected, I decided to approach him and increase his wage a little bit, put him into squad rotation because I've kind of lied to the other players saying, yes, you're going to be an important first team player. So squad rotation with a 5-year contract in order to hopefully get him onto my roster for the next 5 years, and I think that'll be pretty decent. So with him coming in, we decided to go into our first match, and obviously this is still the friendlies, still got, I think it's 2 friendlies before the first game of the season. There's Capital One Cup coming up as well. And I decided to sim this one, as you can see here, fast forwarding it, and Ross McCormack was an absolute beast for me in this game. See, he managed to pick up 2 goals, which led to me winning. So without old Rossi McCormack, I could have been in a little bit of trouble. So we managed to win that friendly, and we went back into the manager hubs it was. And you see, they're saying that, oh, my Fiero was playing pretty well. That was from the previous game. So let's move on once again towards the next friendly on the Monday, and managed to get a transfer offer in here, as you can see. Got a transfer offer for old Paul Connolly. However, felt Portsmouth were being a bit tight with their money, so I put back a counter offer of 275,000 because that was in fact his market price. I know I kind of want to get rid of him, but I don't want to let him go for too cheap. I also felt with the depth of my squads, David Sommer didn't really have a space in my my team, so I unfortunately he was quite a decent player for Leeds, but I had to put him on the transfer market. So they were saying in the press, which tickers round, you'll see in a minute, that they were unsure whether they wasn't going to struggle to find a new squad, and they were unsure why I was releasing him. But anyway, so finally I got my contract accepted on this free agent, so I definitely snapped him up. There's no messing about there, so he's definitely coming to the squad. See there, he's moving in from overseas, and Portsmouth came back saying unfortunately they were not up for meeting the demand of my price for Paul Connolly. So once again, I thought it would be a great idea to put a cheaper counter offer in, but as you'll see throughout this video, they were once again not really having any of it. I was trying my bestest to try and get as much money as I can. There you go. There's the thing with David Sommer. Yeah, he unfortunately wasn't needed. I've got, I think, two strikers on the reserves. I've got 3 on the field, 2 in my bench, and then 1 or 2 on the reserve. So I don't really need that many strikers, and I know who's going to go for a little bit. So once again, my keeper declined his contract. So I was getting a little bit frustrated at this point. I wanted to sign him because I can see a lot of potential, 67 at 19, and obviously Paddy Kenny is somewhat going it past a bit. I know keepers can keep going for a long time, but I kind of wanted to make sure I had a decent youngster coming up through the ranks. So once again I put in another offer of him, and then straight away I had an offer for old David Sommer, and it was from SC Bastila. unfortunately though, they were only offering, I think it was £400,000, and his market value was 575. So I was thinking, they've had that, and I thought I'd wait it out because there'll definitely be a better offer, coming up through the ranks. So once again, I decided to sim this game because I knew the Capital One Cup was coming up soonish. So I decided to put a cheeky little sim on here, and as you can see, old Fierro saves me and gets me the 2 goals which we needed to win the friendly. Yes, the opposition did have a man sent off in the 25th minute, I think that was, but you know, he's still playing very, very well. As you see there, pops up about old Sam Byron, and unfortunately for him, I decided not to start him in the Capital One Cup, and the press have an absolute field day about that. But then I'm moving in later into the season, which you will see coming up. So as you can see, we are slowly approaching the old transfer window, and I managed finally to sign my keeper. So I was all over that. I was like, yes, accept offer, and obviously bring him straight into my roster. So as soon as he got into the squad, I decided to put Paddy Kenny onto the bench. I know Paddy Kenny is kind of potentially quite a lot better than this keeper, but I wanted to make sure that my keeper was getting some good play time, and I also felt that Luke Varney didn't really have much space in my team because I kind of prefer having a lot smaller roster and rotate them rather than having a massive one and everyone getting like their morale put down because they're not playing. So unfortunately I couldn't sell him, so I put him on to, I think it was a season loan, and this press actually come back saying this is probably quite a good thing because he was getting towards the end of the career, so it's going to have given him a bit of a kick up the arse to make him play a little better. So another transfer offer comes in from Nottingham Forest for Danny Poo, and they were offering, I think that's 325,000, so that wasn't too bad. So I decided to accept that to reduce my numbers into my squads and therefore free up a bit more wage because there's still a little bit of the transfer window left open. So it'll be good to kind of get it out of the way in order to allow me, if I decide when it's coming to a close I actually want to go for another big player, then I'll have the spare remaining wage there for me to be able to do that. As we slowly approach the Capital One Cup, you can see here, as you'll see, it was an absolutely fantastic game as we were simming towards it, and I decided to start predominantly with my youngsters. But as you see here, old Michael Brown managed to get a transfer offer in from some Watford, but it was only for 15,000, so I countered offered at 20. I know he's only worth 20, but I didn't want to let him go 15,000 because that really wasn't worth it. It's probably worth just letting him sit in my reserves at that price because I can't really buy anyone on 15,000, I'm not going to lie. But anyway, so here we go. Tuesday the 7th, we have got a game for the Capital One Cup. So it's talking about Rakowski's Leeds debut possibility there, and he actually granted me a rather cheeky start. And here we go, moving into the Capital One. I kind of like that as kind of a pretty decent swirly thing at the beginning. See, we're playing Southend here, and there's Fierro on the ball, getting a bit tricky, leaning into his man. So moving on to it then. So we've got Leeds versus Southend United for the Capital One Cup. And as you'll see, I didn't exactly make the best start. You see Rakowski's there. Yes, he is in the starting lineup. Got Byram is unfortunately on the bench, but I've got Fierro and my new midfielder in. So it's quite a young team. So here we go. Moving into the game, and I had an absolute mare in the on the 6th minute. I actually concede to Southend here. I was absolutely appalling in defence. He actually tore me apart with that through ball there, and Rakowski, maybe his positioning could have been a little bit better, but I can't really blame that on him. That was actually my terrible defending. But here we go. So I got onto the attack here, and once again, as I always do with Fierro, go down the wing, cut inside, and look at this, bang, straight onto the post once again. He seems to be kind of cursed in that respect. And not only that, I had Ross McCormack pick it up here and then hit the other post. So I was like, what am I meant to do here to score? So that was a little bit unfortunate to get a cheeky little, I think it's Al Hadj actually, yeah, it was Diouf, hits the post there. So I was like hitting both posts. I don't know what I'm meant to be doing here to score. So unfortunately, you see, we're into the second half now, and 1-0 down in the first decent game in the season, which I need to win. The Capital One Cup, I was thinking, oh dear, this could end horrifically, but The keeper makes a good save there, and I managed to follow up for Rudolf Austin there, our new signing this season. He was obviously not in the game but in real life, so finally I levelled it up at 1-1, and I was kind of, a bit of pressure was off, and Fierro here does fantastically, weaves in and out, and just from there, about 18 yards out, managed to sneak it past the keeper on the inside post. So I was really pleased with that finish. See there, under a lot of pressure, 3-4 guys really around him, he manages to slot it home there. And fortunately for me, I managed to hold that 2-1 lead. So I was very worried when it got to half time. But when we went 2-1 up, I was thinking, okay, we'll just sit back and try and hold that. So I was very pleased with that. And once again, Fierro did manage to get man in the match. So I think he's definitely been a very good signing for us, very lucrative. Watford come back here, and obviously they're not up for the extra 5,000, and it was a bit like, whoa, okay. But we do get a offer for Conley this time, and once again counter it, because I don't want to be giving away my players for that cheaply. So I was a little bit unfortunate, but I couldn't really do much about it. You see, they decided to go ahead with the counter offer finally. So he didn't go for too cheaply, but I didn't get an absolute bomb for him. I decided to do a cheeky little press conference here because I couldn't do that in FIFA 10. So I wasn't sure what I was really doing, but anyway, so I decided to praise Fierro because he was actually playing incredibly well. So that kind of set us up for our first game of the season, you see. I know I decided to motivate the team. First game the actual season we're going to go into in the next episode against Middlesbrough. So if you have enjoyed this episode, please leave a like, maybe a favourite, and share it with your friends. And I'll see you guys later.